This is Jameson from Cooper Fleet Services. Today is September 3rd, 2021, and this is recent automotive news. GM released their first allocations of vehicles to fleet customers this week for the 2022 model year vans. The news was much worse than even a pessimist like me expected. For example, some companies that requested 150 express vans got allocated 15. Now keep in mind that these are just what has been allocated, and that does not guarantee that these vehicles are going to be built. These production slots have an incredibly good chance of being disrupted between now and when they are supposed to be scheduled. If this year has taught us anything, it is that the automakers are built on a foundation of sand, and problems at any of their thousands of suppliers have the possibility of bringing production to a halt. Most of this is due to the fact that the auto manufacturers have little or no control over the suppliers they buy parts from. As you can see in the semiconductor market, they are one of many gigantic companies from many different industries competing for a small supply of parts. When most of these semiconductor manufacturers are overseas and the US auto industry is just a small fraction of their business, the US auto manufacturers are not getting the preferential treatment they are used to getting. Which in my opinion is why it seems that they are doing little to fix the problems themselves and looking for the federal government to mandate that they get preferential treatment. On top of all this, the US auto manufacturers are still planning on continuing the practice of just-in-time manufacturing. This is a manufacturing process that has needed parts show up just in time for installation, and no spare parts are kept on hand in case of any supply chain problems. This is to maximize profit margins and make their stock ticker look really good, but it does not help them consistently produce an actual product. In a recent interview with auto part supplier Jatco Limited's CEO, he said he expects production for their partner automakers to smooth out in March of 2022. Jatco is majority owned by Honda Motor Company, with Suzuki also owning a stake. This sounds like good news for Honda and Suzuki, but it seems that suppliers that work with the US manufacturers are still claiming the shortage could last until 2023. Stellantis announces an all-electric ProMaster van that will be available for purchase in 2023. This is right in time to compete with GM's BrightDrop EV and Ford's E-Transit. Stellantis said this move comes with a lot of demand from their customers. GM is also planning an all-electric cargo van and medium-duty truck in the near future. I imagine there are huge government cash incentives given to these companies for electric vehicle development. It must be nice to be some of the wealthiest companies in the world and still have so much of your business subsidized by the American people. I wanted to ask a question to our audience and customers. How much would you be willing to spend on an all-electric version of the current vehicles you use? For instance, a parcel delivery company can buy a large gas delivery vehicle for $45,000 on the low side up to $70,000 or $80,000 on the high end. We have heard estimates of $60,000 to $100,000 for similar all-electric products. This price does not include the infrastructure needed to support and charge a fleet of electric vehicles. Each charging station can cost upwards of $5,000 to install, with most fleet managers having major questions like how many charges will these batteries last before they start to show signs of degradation? If a vehicle runs out of charge on the road, is it going to have to be towed to a charging station? And what does a heavy cargo load do to my estimated range? All of these seem to be very reasonable objections to fleet EVs, and I'm not sure anyone has the answers yet. I guess we will have to see how these vehicles are holding up in the next 4 to 5 years. That's been it for automotive news this week. Really appreciate you tuning in. If you like content like this, feel free to check out our website at www.cooperfleetservices.com. A like and a subscribe really helps out the channel. Again, I really appreciate y'all tuning in this week. Have a great weekend. Thanks.